Bishop on Air.
Well, we just finished up with the primaries. But we've got the November election coming up. And a candidate who hopes to get on the November ballot didn't have a chance to get all the exposure that the Republicans and Democrats had, because my next guest is hoping to be the Libertarian on the ballot for the Statehouse. Jake Leonard joins me in studio. Jake, good morning.
Good morning to you as well.
So which district are you running for?
I am running for state representative in the 95th district, which is Christian, Montgomery, half of Macoupin, and portions of Madison County. Why
the Libertarian Party?
Well, I've always considered myself to be an independent type voter, and for some reason it's just there was no way I could vote either way. So I became interested in the Libertarian Party back in 2010. I voted for Gary Johnson in 2012, and I only thought, never in the history of the district have they ever had a third-party candidate run for state representative. So, why not start now and create a trend where it will lead more libertarians to run for office statewide?
7:41 now, News Talk 970 WMAY. We've got the sun shining, about 35 degrees in the capital city. Talking with Jake Leonard. He hopes to be on the ballot as a Libertarian in the 95th House District. Jake, before we talk about the procedure of you having to get all these signatures and your take on the disparity between the third parties and the established parties and all of that, let's hear about yourself. Who are you? And sell yourself to the people out there.
Okay, well, I am an entrepreneur, and I own my own business. I actually have multiple specialties. I actually work in multimedia broadcasting. I do a lot of information technology work, and then I do some freelancing in regards to journalism.
How old are you?
I am 29 years old.
All right, 29 years old. Married?
Nope, single at this time.
All right. And tell us a little bit about your education.
Okay, well, I'm currently going to Kaskaskia College in Centralia in pursuing a degree in network administration.
All right. So
hopefully to be finished in 2018 sometime.
All right. Jake Leonard joins us. He is hoping to be the Libertarian on the Statehouse ballot for the 95th District. So let's get into this. You're not on the ballot yet,
not yet.
But you can start next week.
Yes, next Tuesday.
To start gathering up petition signatures. How much of a labor-intensive process is this going to be?
It is going to be a rather intensive process because for that respective district, I do have to come up with 1,756 signatures minimum.
So that's 1,756 signatures at a minimum. But surely people have told you that you want to get double that.
Well, I can have a little over 2,800 turned in. That's the maximum set by the State Board of Elections.
Of course, that's to help kind of combat any possible challenges that there may be. So have you compared that to what the, quote, established parties have to collect to get on the ballot?
Oh, they have considerably less. They actually have to submit about a third of what I have to bring in.
What does that mean to you as somebody who doesn't prescribe to the Republican or the Democrat mantra?
I believe that in regards to the election laws, it makes things incredibly unfair and makes things biased toward the establishment parties. And it's almost as if they do not want third parties in power in this state.
Jake Leonard joins us. He's hoping to be the Libertarian on the ballot for the 95th House District at 7:44 with News Talk 970 WMAY and Bishop on Air. So let's talk a little bit about how libertarianism plays into state government. We've got a horrible budget crisis right now, Jake. We've got the Republicans and Democrats at loggerheads. And how would having a Libertarian in a downstate district help or hurt these efforts to get a budget to pay for things that, the social service agencies, higher education, the whole lot of things that we've been hearing in this entire discussion?
Okay, so libertarians believe in fiscal conservatism. So, we follow the Republicans' view on how to try to make sacrifices to make budgets work. And there are far too many commitments that the state has made that we can't pay now. And just as you spoke earlier this morning with the unions, I mean, they made this commitment, they signed the agreement with the union, and now they can't back it up.
So what would you bring to the table? Would you look for cuts? Would you look for more revenue? How would a libertarian approach the mess that is the state of Illinois?
That's a very good question. I would have to look at every aspect. It's not just taxation I'd have to look into. I mean, if possible, I would like to avoid increasing taxes because taxes are high enough as it is in this state. Now, revenue, we could possibly look into other ventures, and that may possibly lead to the legalization of marijuana, and then possibly some other things that may help bring money back to the state of Illinois. And like I said, cuts will have to be made. Everyone has to make sacrifices to get by, and to be able to do that, I feel that we make those drastic cuts to be able to get back to a balanced and maybe a surplus type budget. We could start making up for these deficits that we're in right now.
Jake Leonard, he hopes to be the Libertarian on the ballot for the 95th House District, and I haven't looked at the district, the history of the district, but you're saying that if you do get on the ballot, you'd be the first third-party candidate on a ballot to possibly represent that district. Jake, if you could, give us a little bit more of an idea of how libertarianism would play into state politics. Would it allow for you to build coalitions of sorts between, fiscal conservatives and social liberals, and maybe find those areas of common ground and really push for substantive change?
Yeah, I have no problem with working with anybody. It's just, the problem with the current legislature right now is that aisle. Someone has to cross that aisle to be able to build the appropriate coalitions to get the job done. So it doesn't matter if it has to do with the budget or if it has to do with, the pension crisis, which that's way out of control. Have to be able to make those proper coalitions to be able to get everything taken care of. So like in the sense of the pension crisis, we have to get that fixed as soon as possible. And then we need to get it out of government control. We need to get this thing privatized. That way people aren't concerned about where my pension's going to go, what's going to happen to it when I do retire.
So they could have control of it themselves.
Yes, where they can control it themselves. And I think as a part of that, state legislators should not even be allowed to have a pension to begin with.
Jake Leonard, he is hopeful to be the Libertarian candidate for the 95th House District seat. And Jake, how are you going to get the public's attention? Of course, you've got Avery Bourne, who's the incumbent. She just went through a primary. Her name was mentioned a lot in media. You've got other candidates across the state who've been given that kind of spotlight because of the primaries. But the primaries are over now. We've got just a handful of months before the November election. How are you going to grab people's attention in that short amount of time?
As part of the media campaign, I'm pretty much going to do. I'm going to probably do more than what the other candidates or have been doing. I'm actually going to do a actual interaction with the voters, because they need to know that there is there's more choice than the lesser of two evils.
Jake, any final parting words you want to share with us?
Well, if you want to check out my campaign, you can find me on Facebook, facebook.com, Jake Leonard for Liberty. You could also check out my campaign website, JakeLeonardForLiberty.com.
Jake, let's talk again in the near future as your campaign progresses, and we'll keep an eye on how many signatures you have to get and that whole process. When's the deadline for that?
I believe in late June.
Wow. So even... I'm counting up here: June, July, August, September, November. I mean, that only gives you 5 months of whether or not you're going to be on the ballot to actually get out there and do some work.
Yeah, and I've had to foot a lot of stuff related to the campaign already because right now there's no campaigns funds coming in right now.
Right, no kidding. Holy cow! Well, best of luck, Jake, and we'll definitely talk with you again in the near future. All right.
All right. Thank you.
News Talk 970 WMAY with Bishop on air.